is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning this morning, and welcome back to Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. You may have heard me whispering just now on the mic. I so out of sorts. The last box of mango was delivered from Abaco today. Mango season is coming to an end, and you could hear the sadness in my voice. I'm finding it hard to hold it together, but it has been a beautiful mango season. And to usher us out, Gnep season has said, here I am, baby. I'm ready to satisfy all your local fruit and nutrition needs. And so as the mangoes dwindle, let's remember to support our local economy by buying Gnep from little children on the side of the road. This is a very important element of our local economy. These little children are raising money to buy school supplies. They're raising money to contribute to the household grocery budget during the summer months, to take care of themselves and buy things. People like things, and little children know you need to have money to buy things. So let's support the young people in their efforts this summer. But also, let's do it responsibly, right? If you know at Church and Bay, that's where St. Matthews is, from Shirley Street to Bay Street, you know on the Bay Street side of that road called Church and Bay by the Sidney Poitier Bridge, young men are there, young boys are there selling Gnep during Gnep season. So don't wait until you get up to them on a green light to go grab the money out your bag and see if you have enough money to buy Gnep. Coordinate it so that you and the young men don't end up obstructing traffic. What I do, if the light turns green before I could get to them, I tell them, listen, I'm going to go around to Bay Street and pull on the side in the parking lot. Come around and you sell me the Gnep. So let's be responsible. Let's not be reckless. We can support them and maintain our normal driving. No, I don't want to say normal because I don't want you all to maintain that. We could still adhere to good driving practices. We've got lots to talk about in the paper today. I got my guest co-host joining me, Rodrika Cawley. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
And it's a Wednesday. Man down, mash up Wednesday when we combine On the Clock with Erin, Greene and Guardian Radio AM. Good morning, Mr. Nuri.
Good morning, this morning. How you doing, Erin?
I good.
Good.
I good.
I see you mentioned that it's Gnep season, but it's also avocado season.
It's starting.
Oh, I stopped to buy my first pair today.
Yeah.
Right on Meadow Street on that park.
By the park right there.
Yes, it ain't ripe yet.
Where they try to sell me the sack of Gnep for $160.
My God. They saw you coming.
No, they must have heard me coming. I look at the young man, I say, cousin,
Yeah.
you're supposed to put out a notice when we at war.
Yeah, Yeah, but I got my first avocado for $3. I didn't know the food store sell it for $6.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is a good avocado.
But listen, even though them try swing me because I sound like I uptown and they believe in they heart, they downtown. Listen, you could live down and you could embody the best parts of downtown, you know, what that mean. You know, the bottoms.
Yes.
You could embody the best parts of what that mean.
Good.
So go support them on Meadow Street opposite the
Yes.
Salvation Army
Or come Fox Hill.
complex.
You know, Fox Hill, we have a lot of young people selling Gneps.
Yeah, Fox Hill as well. Also, Thursday night, Thursday, the 31st of July, 2025, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Fox Hill Community Center. The Bahamas National Reparations Committee
Yes, I said.
is hosting community conversations. An Emancipation Day panel discussion, Are We Really Free? Does it really matter for today's generation? And we'll talk a bit more about that tomorrow. Also, Nuri, I want to do a little like spotlight on Africa, West Africa in particular, Since we're talking emancipation and reparations, we need to take a spotlight on Africa. And I think that's important. In this week, I'm going to ask the question, Mr. Nuri, what's more important? What's more important in the collective psyche of a people, right? You describe a people from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Is it independence? Is it majority rule? Or is it emancipation? Right? That's the question.
Between those three?
Yeah, between those three. Which one is most important? But we've got lots to talk about in the news today. 4 injured in hit and run at the Nassau Guardian. It's water and sewage workers injured in hit and run on Exuma. Today's Tribune, kids abused at Rangers camp. Claims of inappropriate sexual behavior, being forced to drink toilet water, and of beatings. OPM demands news agency retracts story on SpaceX deal. And then on the inner fold, Ramming defends against criticism that government is hiring journalists to weaken media. Man accused of molesting teen breaks down in court. I think this is a follow-up court reporting of the case that is currently before the courts. Grand Bahama Airport critical for Grand Lucayan. We need to know timelines for airport, Concord executive says. Well, let's start. In fact, last night, my whole show, Ms. Corley, was going to be traffic. From I see the people them knock down the water and sewage workers, we's talking traffic. See, because people is laughing at me. And guess what? That's the point, I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. I don't get mad when y'all laugh at me. I really don't. Right? But people were laughing at me when I said, right now, I would trade the Prime Minister and his entire legacy. When I say legacy, I mean his family, intellectuals, hard workers, right? Community driven. I give away all of them for one Pike traffic management team.
Right.
All. And here we are now perhaps seeing the urgency, not the value, not the importance, the urgency of, first of all, adhering to policy that's already been set. You're supposed to have a traffic. We have a perfect example of what happens when you don't adhere to policy. A car sped through a water and sewage corporation work site, injuring several workers in Georgetown, Exuma on Monday, the corporation said yesterday. First of all, who's speeding where in Exuma? Who's speeding where in Exuma? And does Exuma have enough cars that you would not notice that there's a work site somewhere in Exuma? The accident took place near the fish fry area and involved corporation workers and personnel from Rowdy Boys Construction. I just want to say for the company naming committee, let's work on that one. No, for real. I hear you laugh, Mr. Nuri, but for real. Does it evoke confidence when you hear Rowdy Boys Construction? Anyway, that's a message to the the company naming committee. Because in France, they have a committee. You have to pass when you name your baby, you have to submit the name to the committee so they could ensure that it does not incite a riot given France's tumultuous political history. Right? Okay. So that's what I said. Quote, tragically, a vehicle sped through the clearly marked and well-lit work zone, striking 4 individuals on site, close quotes, the statement said. Now, I ain't been to Exuma I'm 49, in 46 years, right? I haven't been to the island in about 7 years. So it's possible that the work sites on the family islands are nothing like the work sites on New Providence. It is likely. There's no need to doubt or speculate that the work zone was clearly marked and well lit. If it was New Providence, You might as well change my name to Speculation and put the application in the newspaper. But this is on the island, and so we cannot make that same assumption. Quote, some of the workers sustained serious head and leg injuries and were subsequently airlifted to New Providence for further medical treatment. These are severe injuries. They remain hospitalized and are receiving care. Quote, the area had been properly secured with traffic cones and signage, and lights were in place to ensure visibility and safety. This incident has been classified as a hit and run, and the matter is under police investigation. What do you mean
It would be interesting to know the actual story of what happened, though, because are you hitting 4 people?
Are you hit a whole work site, and then why you running on the Exumo? First of all, when you go run with your car, the islands of Keys, where you going? It had been water and sewage. General Manager Robert Deal sent his best wishes to the employees that were injured, as do all of we. We all sending our best wishes to the water and sewage staff, right? This should not have happened. You should be safe on your job. You should never have to worry about this type of risk, this type of injury, this type of incident. The article continues, quote, our thoughts are with the injured men and their families during this difficult time.
People need to learn how to slow down.
It's not just, it's yes.
There's lots of other things, for sure.
Here's spatial awareness. Let's talk about it. People need to learn and practice spatial awareness. Just what you said. You need to learn how to slow down and when to slow down.
Yeah.
In the same vein, we have lots of people on the other extreme who don't know when to speed up. This is particularly troubling when you are forcing your way into traffic. For instance, you are at an intersection. You have decided that you're not going to stop at the stop sign. You're going to slide through the stop sign, right, at a nice pace, roughly, say, 15, 20 miles an hour, into oncoming traffic that is making 30, 35 miles an hour. And when you slide into the roadway and presume that you have established your speed to 7 miles an hour.
That happened to me on the roundabout this morning, actually.
Yes.
So first, if I'm on the roundabout, I have the right of way. So if you're coming from off of the lane to come onto the roundabout, you should stop.
Yes.
To make sure that if you want to come out, sure, but it have to be clear to go.
Yes.
And then you want to crawl out. I'm already the one that has the right of way on the roundabout. So I had to slam my brakes so that this person would not hit me on the roundabout this morning as they drive slowly. Wouldn't have been a major collision on their end because they weren't even driving fast enough to do that.
COB roundabout this morning, Independence Highway roundabout yesterday, East-West Highway roundabout yesterday. It happens all the time. Another, knowing when to speed up and when to slow down, people have started doing this thing. First of all, they're going to make a turn. They don't use the turn signal. They're going to make a turn. And then it seems somehow that either they forget why they're turning through this corner or they forget how to turn through the corner. And their car comes to a complete stop, except half of their car is still in the roadway. Well, a third of the car is in the roadway and 2/3 of the cars in the intersection. And they come to a complete stop with no regard for what's happening on the roadway. And then I realized, right, what the problem is. I know what the problem is.
Competence.
It's Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
Okay.
It's the culture part, right? It's that we have taken idioms, cultural idioms, and we've applied them in the wrong area because we're not good at taking tests, right? Like, people that say, what is behind me is not before me. You ever hear old people say that, Miss Colley? Anyway, we're going to stick a pen, we're going to go to the phone line and find out if this caller knows what I mean when I say, what is behind me is not before me. Good morning, caller.
Miss Greene, guess how you doing?
Good, thank you. How you do?
Wait a minute. I found out two reasons why I found out for the bad driving rate. One, people simply don't care, right?
Yes.
And two is the amount of money you spend on your vehicle.
Yes.
I'll ask you a question, right? If you buy something, right, for say $10, right, and you buy the same product for 50 cents, which one do you think you would take care more?
The $10 one.
All right, then. Now back to the point with the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
People, I call them disposable cars.
It's a small car phenomenon. See, when you
Right.
when you don't
you mash your car, then you buy two more.
yeah.
So you have one house with about 7, 8 mash-up cars in the yard because you could easily get one Isuzu draw or some simply don't care about it.
One little $3,000. There's only 3 racks. That's what the young
Yeah, so
people
the
are saying.
government raised it up to say 352% to bring in Japanese cars, right? I bet you the problem would stop because now people take care of their vehicles.
But listen, here's what it is. When you are a co-owner of the car, see, when you share the car with your wife, you gotta go look in your wife's face every day, right? When she jump in the car, she wanna ask, well, what all these beer bottles doing in the car? Why the car smell like sweet cologne? Why all these food wrappers in the car? Why you don't bring this good food home? When you share the car, you gotta answer questions. When you buy a car through the bank, you gotta see the bank manager every month.
All right.
That moderates your behavior. This is why I begging. This is why I'm on my knees begging the police to increase their presence on the streets, both on foot and in cars, because just seeing the authority there begins the process of moderating your behavior, right? Anyway,
Erin, people don't even care about taking care of their bodies. They will not care about taking care of their vehicles. It doesn't matter how much you spend. It doesn't matter if the police there. I've seen people go to half knock down police officers just because they don't care about them.
Listen,
either. People don't care about their children.
listen, people are in crisis mode, without a doubt. We're not denigrating people, even though the comedy may sound funny. We're not denigrating people. People are in crisis mode. But,
Right.
but hold on, Miss Colley. We have a fourth person who's joined us in the studio today. And this boy bring me a box of Mammy's
Cake.
Johnny Cake Mix. And if you bring me a box of Mammy's Johnny Cake Mix, you must know what is behind me is not before me means. Good morning, Mr. Munnings. How you doing?
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Erin. Good morning, CA. Good morning, Miss Colley.
Morning.
I'm glad that you bring it for Emancipation Holiday. I need the Johnny Cake for I need the Johnny Cake for Emancipation Holiday because we still march into freedom, and it may be an even longer journey than I thought.
Well, freedom first starts in your mind.
There you go. But listen, do you know what is behind me is not before? Older people say that.
A lot of these phrases sometimes they use because it's relative to the time that they were in or the things that they were experiencing at the time. I think that the young people today are faced with so many different challenges. And a lot of those challenges is difficult for them to navigate because it's like, when the kids are raising the kids, this is like before we had grandmothers that were raising the kids. So now we are two different sections of life. It's totally, everything is different.
The grandmothers are kids raising the kids
You know
still.
what I'm saying? So, when like growing up on the island with my grandmother, as a young male, you would have had to learn how to clean, you had to learn how to cook, you had to learn how to farm, you had to learn how to do everything that is needed for your survival.
Because as the man, right, as the head of the household, as the man, how are you going to assess that I doing the job properly if you don't know how to do it? That's my first argument. If you come to me talking about, miss, you ain't doing it right, first thing I can say is, perhaps you're right, sir. It is most likely that I'm not doing it right. Will you please do it for me to show me how to do it properly? That's how I argue. But here's what is behind me is not before me means. It means I passed that. I ain't got to worry about that no more.
What once was no longer is.
No, that ain't what it means.
What once was.
No, that ain't what it means. That's a different saying. What's behind me is not before me doesn't suggest that it no longer exists.
In your mind, it's a
it
mental
just says
situation.
it don't exist to me. But what it says, it is very real, right? That's what it means. What is behind me is not before me. That thing is very real, but it ain't real to me anymore.
It's like your past.
Okay, so
it's similar to your past.
But watch this.
So you meet me at two different stages in my life. Let's say you meet me in 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I might have been in a broken state. I might have been, I was struggling or, trying to find my way as a young Bahamian, traversing through the Bahamas, right? Now I'm kind of settled. I'm reserved. I'm working. I'm progressing.
But that
these are things that the old thing is what created the platform for me
Exactly.
to know what it is now.
The
What
old-
is behind me? It's no longer with me.
Okay, see. Now I know you bring me this Johnny cake, but we going round. I wish you'd made it. Wish you brought it straight out the oven so we could eat it round. But in this instance, why I'm using that particular phrase is because many drivers drive with that thinking.
Yeah.
What is behind me is not before me. I have no concern for what is going on behind my vehicle. Now, that's partially informed by this one of these, I would call it like traffic law or like principle, right? The vast majority of accidents, like if you run into the back of somebody, virtually, not all the time, but virtually in every instance, the person who hit from behind
Wrong.
is in the wrong.
In the wrong.
Virtually, but not in every instance.
No.
So not in every instance.
In most cases, they're saying that you're supposed to be a certain distance away from the car
Right,
in front of you.
so no-
And you're supposed to be paying attention. And you
To
can't
what's happening behind
and then
you.
you can't predict what the driver in the front of you is about to do.
That's why
Yes, but then you also have people who your cars don't have no brake lights.
No, that's true. That's an infraction.
But which is
So-
why you have to pay more attention to
Attention.
the rotation of the tires. See, when the car in front of you has no listen, when the car in front of you has no brake lights, you got two things you could do, right? You hope that the vehicle is not tinted.
Right.
So you could see through the vehicle and get a sense of what the vehicle in front of that vehicle is doing. If you could see their brake lights, then you get a better sense of when
Correct.
the car in front of you is going to brake. Also, watching the rotation of the tires, how quickly they go in when they begin to slow down to give you a sense of when it's time for you to also slow down and how quickly, right? Did you slowing down at the same rate or faster rate than they are? Right? But virtually in all instances, the person who is behind will be
In the wrong.
will be in the wrong. And so that's a part of what informs the driving culture and what informs what people are thinking when they say what is behind me is not before me. Except if you are entering an intersection, what is behind you is before you. Because when you enter an intersection, before you enter the intersection, you're supposed to accurately assess the rate of speed on that roadway.
Yes.
And you're not supposed to enter the intersection until you can do so without obstructing the traffic that is already flowing on that roadway. Many people drive with this thing in their mind. They come up to the intersection, they do not stop long enough to assess whether they can maintain I can slip in right here.
I'll bring us.
And then they say, hold on, I am already on the road, so now you have to slow down behind me.
But I'll bring a scenario to you. Normally, in the city of New Providence, as cars are traversing, we've seen a lot of persons drive irresponsibly, right? Most of those same individuals, when you take them outside of the Bahamas and you take them into the U.S. or any other jurisdiction, right? You find that they are more cautious of how they're driving. They're following the rules as they're going abroad. You don't have to tell them put on the seatbelt. They put
Right.
on the seatbelt. You don't have to tell them don't drink and drive. You don't have to tell them do all of these things now because they realize that the law is in place there and
it will be enforced.
It will be enforced. And so at home we have a sense of we're on an island.
We don't care.
I'm home. The fact that it isn't that they don't care is a don't care of what happens.
Yeah.
So in a sense, everybody's doing their own thing. We can apply the same thing to the lawmakers. You're paying license taxes in regards to licensing your vehicle. That particular tax is supposed to derive to fix the roads.
Listen to
But is the roads being fixed? I mean, so that's an argument for the people that are driving now. Sometimes they have to avoid the big pothole and almost end up in an accident.
Hold on, no, pause.
Well, I'm paying taxes for that.
Listen, pause, because the next old people phrase I would like to eradicate from the Bahamian driver's lexicon is, and this ain't quite old people phrase, confuse the enemy. Now, Miss Giggles, I think it's Miss Giggles who say this. Miss Giggles is one of the funniest women in the Bahamas, without a doubt, right? But just like loose as a goose pasta, I need you to run it by the committee first before you say these things. Because as soon as you said confuse the enemy, Bahamian driver said, hold my beer while I drive. Let's go to the phone line. Okay. Producer getting it. Good morning, caller. Do you know what confuse the enemy means?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. The question was for me?
Yes, sir. We're looking at phrases that don't belong in the Bahamian driver's mind while they driving.
Confuse the enemy.
Yes. A local comedian, right, sort of derived that term, and it's hilarious. But Bahamian drivers think that you're supposed to apply that on the road while you're driving.
I'm not sure I have the answer to that, but I really called because I heard about the situation on the road.
Yes,
and
sir.
I want to be a defender right now.
Okay.
Just saying that I'm seeing some paved roads.
Yes, sir. We are seeing paved roads, definitely.
Yeah.
There is some progress going on. We just need, the problem isn't that the government is devoid of good ideas. The problem isn't that the government doesn't know what to do. The problem is the government does not know how to mobilize its resources to match the pace of its own policies. The government simply cannot move at the pace of its own policies. And so we got the new roads, and this is great, but have they coordinated effectively with the utility providers to ensure that they won't need to access the road and break up the asphalt within the next 2 years, barring an emergency situation? Have they coordinated with the people who put the stripes in the road? I know Otario Mitchell's busy since he get that $5,000 grant, but can they stripe the road? And can they erect the signs appropriately? Y'all don't laugh. If y'all laugh, y'all gonna encourage me. And the boy don't bring the Johnny cake because listen, I'm glad that the young man has done well in life. But how do you get a self-starter grant, which was the one he got was the junior level of grant, right?
Yeah.
To start a new company, and then it turns out your uncle have the same company.
Hey, but it don't work like that. But that's,
Anyway, we're gonna go. Okay, so caller, sorry about that. You still there?
Yeah. I'm listening to you. I'm learning. I'm learning.
Okay, so let me tell you what confuse the enemy means. Apparently, in Bahamian driving, confuse the enemy means, why would you think I can use my turn signal? Why you think I want to let these people?
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you why.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm approaching a corner and I see some other person coming, right?
Uh-huh.
If I put on my turn signal too early, person will know that I'm coming, and they might turn on the opposite direction in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I delay. I'm just speaking generally. I don't want to incriminate myself, but you may delay putting on your turn signal so you can get by that intersection before the other persons.
Let me tell you.
Sometimes it has to do with selfish driving,
Yeah, but let me tell you why I delay putting on my turn signal. I hate it, I could feel the spirit of Ori J. Sands sitting on my shoulder asking me if I'm making sense every time I delay putting on my turn signal. Because when you're approaching an intersection and you put on your turn signal, the car in the intersection is going to encroach the lines. They are going to block up the intersection.
Right.
To force you to let them out before you could turn in.
A dozen more will want to come out too.
Yeah, and then 6 of them won't come out. Mm-hmm. And then they all block up the road and you can't make the turn anyway. And then they will look at you like they are the child of God with their grandchildren in the car, and they know that they're behaving like pretend gangsters. Let me tell you something. If you cannot lift your body up over a 4-foot fence, you are not a gangster.
Mercy, you're right about that.
Yes,
and
sir.
I can't do that anymore.
Me either. I'm telling you, me either. I'm in trouble. Anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
Of my turn signals,
Mm-hmm.
but it's mostly so that if you hit me, I have justification on how you are in the wrong.
Yes, I listen. I maintain the right of way every way. My turn signal was on, and if you didn't see it, it's because you were pretending not to see it, because you're confusing yourself. Because it turns out you are your own enemy. See what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Ms. Greene, just one more thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Which one you guys feel about that 6-leg roundabout, right? And the roundabout by Fusion? Which one you think is worse? Because the roundabout by Fusion, right?
Uh-huh.
For some strange reason, they always have an accident right there. And the 6-leg roundabout, for some strange reason, no one knows how to properly use it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so
Should we just do away with that and scrap that idea one time?
of roundabouts.
No, the roundabout by Fusion and the roundabout, not 6-leg roundabout.
Okay,
No one know how to use it. You know what you is cut across my car?
Pause. Here's the thing. These are good, decent people, Like, these are people, hold on. These are
I had to
people.
give a good decent person the finger this morning because they crossed my car from the inner lane coming straight across the outer lane to go back into the lane to go to Farrington Road.
Cousin, I tell people in my car, I can't cuss on the radio. So get ready. I can't cuss on the radio, so get ready. But we got to make a distinction between the two roundabouts, right? I think they both need attention. Your assessment is correct, but then we got to get into the weeds, right? We got to get into the details. Fusion roundabout, Gladstone Road roundabout needs to be, if not removed, revamped. There is a bias. There's an actual bias there. And that roundabout provides greater ease for eastbound traffic, people coming from the west going east. It's easiest for them, I think, to move. And then Bahama, coming off of Bahama, and then JFK, and then coming off of Gladstone Road. That's the worst one. That roundabout appears to have been set up in a way to deliberately and intentionally slow down the traffic coming off of Gladstone Road. Also, what y'all call the ornamentals in the roundabout to make it look pretty. See, this is the moment where I'm gonna need to take a break, because you are actually obstructing the view of the drivers using the roundabout, and you make the roundabout more dangerous than it needs to be by having all these trees and bushes and hedges grown up, and people cannot see on the other side of the roundabout. But here's the thing. Because if you can't see what's on the other side, then you have to slow down. This is what they're saying in their minds, that this will force people to slow down. And I don't understand how y'all be thinking. You know what will cause people to slow down at that roundabout? Constant police presence, because that's what police supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be being present constantly.
We don't have enough police officers, they said.
Listen, they need 2,000. We transitioning. Oh, caller, we ain't transition till we take your call. My bad. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Greene and Mr. Newey, and to the young lady.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I think just before I reached, I might have heard, sounded like my cousin John Penn was on the radio, and somebody was talking about signaling, because I heard the young lady response. And so, really and truly, that is the lack of signaling and the lack of enforcement of it. I live in the States for a while. I was up and down on these highways and these interstates. So it's illegal to change lane without signaling. And especially if you're driving like an imbecile. And so what has happened is, since we have moved to the dual carriageway, northbound, eastbound, westbound, southbound respectively, whatever direction, we see they go in dual carriageways. So the roundabout at Fusion is not a confusion for me, right? Because I'm older. But because the roundabout has so many lanes now, that's where the confusion lies.
It only have 2 lanes? You mean the exits?
Let's make 3, Erin. Let's put it. Let's make 3, because they don't really understand that, and so that's where the confusion lies. I guarantee you, if people start getting booked for not accidents,
I'm telling you, not just reduce traffic accidents, we'll have increased critical thinking. We'd have students, young people who leaving school better able to navigate the world around them, because turn signals teach you how to navigate the road, how to read the room.
Hey, Erin, I want to get in a quick point here. Another two little quick. Also, people driving slowly in the night, that indicates that they're incapacitated or they don't deserve to be on the road.
Yes.
So the gentleman was calling, talking the proliferation of Japanese cars. It's not the Japanese cars, because you're talking about fuel efficiency and carbon credits, so we burning less fuel. But the thing is, you look at it, people driving slow, it indicates something to me, and lack of dexterity. But I want to highlight this fact that I heard on the news that there was some molestation going on at some camp or some children's camp.
I got it in my hand right now.
I'm upset about that, because I had called a couple of weeks ago and saying people who coming into encounters with children in these type of humanitarian entities, they need to be scared. And this sickens me, because what happens if a father or mother goes crazy and injure the person? I mean, how could you allow these things to happen? I just spoke about these the other day. You know what kind of people are willing to take it? Well, this is getting me so mad. You can't be around children.
I got you. You cannot be around children and you don't understand these basic precepts and principles. But that's why I talking about traffic, right? Because if you don't acknowledge the right of way, if you don't acknowledge what it means to get consent to enter a roadway? Like, all of these things are linked together. It's the same principle everywhere we go. The same people that disregard what a stop sign means, they disregard what give way means. Give way means if you cannot enter the roadway without obstructing traffic, interfering with the flow and pace of traffic, then you cannot enter the roadway. These are the same people that don't know what it means when it says if the person is under the age of 16, you cannot engage in any form of intimacy with them, not physical, not emotional, not sexual, right? These are the same people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think that the information must be deciphered to the people in regards to communicating with them through social media, through different various platforms and so forth, because there are a lot of people that have driver's license and they're driving. But again, there are a lot of people still who have driver's license don't know how to access a roundabout or who do not use access of a signal and so forth. So
a couple of callers said it. They don't care to know because right now you could go online and Bahamian infographics, Bahamian data, Bahamian flyers and memes, and they're all over the internet.
But
you could find them.
Even if they don't line, it's the due responsibility for the persons responsible to say, hey, this level of media or platforms are being sent out.
One of the biggest problems is that preventatively, what we need to start doing is integrating these things from there as early as kids.
Agreed.
Because if I teach you consent, if I teach you to use comprehension, if I teach you spatial awareness, if I teach you consideration and following the rules, if I continue to instill these things in you, then that will kind of be your moral compass as you get older.
All right, so you stick a pin, because the parents are teaching them something from little as well. We got to counteract that. The bad things, not the good things. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. I saw I lost you. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Erin. How are you and your guests doing?
Good.
Yeah, I agree with 52. That concrete in the front of Fusion, they need to move that, man. Because in the morning time, like I was telling Dwight yesterday, they designed the roads for the left lane to get thing. People is be coming up on the grass and everything, got to go in Fusion yard, turn around, and come back out and then to hit that left lane to go to the airport. You can't get to that. They got big concrete in the middle. If you're in a little cube or fit, they turn good round the concrete. They ain't got to go in Fusion yard. They turn right round there and then go. They got to move that, man. And when they make Glastonbury dual carriageway, that still got a bottleneck up the graveyard, man. That still ain't gonna work even if they have two lanes going north and south. They fire trail west. They need to extend that and come out by Odyssey Airport and in between Odyssey and the charter service where that little fill is right there. Because in the 80s, I live in the south. When we had to go to the airport, we said, let's take the back road, man. Let's go up Cowpen. And things said we used to get there in 10 minutes. Now, the traffic on the Michael Road, past Bacardi Road, almost down from Call Harbor roundabout, must be down to Glasson Road. So they need to extend Fire Trail West. Them two roads can't carry you west. Too much traffic on them.
Caller, thank you so much, yeah? Thank you. I'm mad at you, but thank you. I'm mad at you because I was going to switch topics, but I can't switch topics just right now. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Erin.
Good morning, sir.
I don't mean to digress from your topic of the traffic, but if anybody happen to be going through Lewis Street, right? Schoolgy on a show Friday say they have one lot there where a sewer pipe been for a couple of months.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. No, it's important. Let me say it. So there's been a sewer line break on Lewis Street.
West of Comfort Street. And it need attention. They still haven't attended to it? He was trying to call us now. He called and said they showed a truck yesterday and day before yesterday on fellas on pickaxe, but they ain't sure with no machine to really find this sewer thing. So I tell him call me back and let me know what the update is because they'll be listening to us chattering class.
And cracking joke.
The upper orifice too much. And I tell him to call me back because I can wait for Naughty show.
And you do it again. Yeah, do it again.
Listen, no. I tell him before I send him a WhatsApp message to me and 52 schoolmate Michael Pentat so he could drive over the hill and drive to Lewis Street and inspect that and see he's left. But I can put it on him. You know what I mean?
As well, yes. Use all the tools available to you.
Anyway, because they say he said for 6 months I've been open, and they talk, but some of us on pickaxe.
6 months?
Yeah, that's how he said, man.
Okay, I got you.
When I talk to him, he tell me that he said been for over 6 months. Even the banana tree and all of them, then turn around in the yard, the property where it is. But they show up with one truck and one fellow with one pickaxe. They'd be slamming. You know what I mean?
They even bring the machine to detect the leak. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Bring machine. Okay, I can be on pin top. If he called me back before 4 o'clock, so I could stay on Naughty Show. Michael.
Listen, and you do me a favor. I need you to tell the Prime Minister specifically that we could be me and you. We could be on Pintard, okay? Because he seemed to think that we don't really. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Ms. Greene, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good morning. I know you're a very learned woman, right? But when I went to R.M. Billy Senior School, I graduated in 2009.
Okay.
We had a program in there called Driver's Ed to schools, to Ministry of Education provided in their schools.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The question to Ministry of Education provided in schools, so I've been heard that they don't do programs there no more.
Well, I'm hoping with the revitalization of the Bahamas Driving School Association, I need you to turn your radio down.
Okay.
I'm hoping with the revitalization of the Bahamas Driving School Association that they are actively working with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to see how they could return those classes to the school. Now, I didn't hear that when the government talked about the initiatives that they were going to implement, right, to raise awareness about safer roads, better drivers. I didn't see a revitalization of a driver's ed program on in any of the press statements, but they are there. Okay, so we're going to a break. When we get back from the break, we're going to touch, the Monroe says, about 10 to 15% of officers on extended sick leave, because every part of this conversation end up with not enough police officers. And then we're going to go to kids abused at Rangers Camp and ask the question, okay, we need more, but then how do we make sure they're the right set that we put in place? And then, of course, at the end of the break, I'm coming back to ask you why in your heart of hearts you would open your mouth and look at me and say, but miss, you driving safely. I just would like to know if somebody would call in and tell me what goes through your mind right before you tell somebody that. Please let me know. You're on the clock with Erin Greene on this Man Down Mashup Wednesday when we combine On the Clock and Guardian Radio AM. I've got Ian Munnings. He's standing in Mr. Nuri's corner. You see, defending Nuri today. And in my corner, I have Rodrika Cawley joining the Battle Royale. Y'all stay tuned, caller. Please hold the line. We'll be right back.
Boy, you know what going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Boy, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Boy, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, how many boys coming for me next?
Alright, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know. Nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I boy?
All you gotta do is call them or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info? And when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled so nobody can read what you're saying.
Calls 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Pop the top with collect, check your cap by 700, 200,000 in cash and prizes with winners different islands. Collect. Pop the top with collect, check your cap by 700. You could win free bears, take a sip and collect merchandise. Matter say, I pop mine and so Marie got I pop mine and home comedy look with free bears. I go in and just check your cap. Collect. Pop the top with collect, check your cap by 700. You could win free bears, take a sip and collect merchandise. Matter say,
drink responsibly, boy.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. for every heart in the world. See how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Hey kids, it's back! The Jeff Rogers Summer Basketball Camp, July 28th to August 8th at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for boys and girls, 5 to 18. Pair and learn from the NBA superstars past and present, including our very own Buddy Hield of the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson of the Dallas Mavericks, former Laker great Michael Sweet Bells Thompson, another great among the point guards back in the day, Muggsy Bogues, and many others. Application forms now at the Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Tonic Williams, Darling Highway. Call 341-4021 or check the website, jeff.com.
Good morning and welcome back. Welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. I have, 3 minutes left? I have 3 minutes left. Mr. Nuri, I beg you, we have to talk about these two stories at some point in the day. Monroe says about 10 to 15% of officers on extended sick leave. But before we go there, good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, Ms. Greene, morning, Mr. Nuri, and good morning to all the guests in the studio.
Morning.
Yeah, talking about traffic and things like that, but the roundabout and stuff. Let me say something to you. Anyone who does not know how to navigate a roundabout should not be driving. All right? And anyone who was caught trying to do a 270 or a 360 on a roundabout instead of exiting on the first or the second exit, they need to get their license suspended for at least 6 months or something, man, because that is absolutely ridiculous. That right there is looking for an accident. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to ask is, I've been wondering this. How in the world is all that traffic there in the West? By Colorado, I mean, because I use the traffic coming in town. You know what I mean?
All right, I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank you.
One more quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with 52. Anyone who is involved with programs dealing with children, and you know you like children, and you get caught dealing with children, you need to get hanged. You know what I mean? We need to we need to set an example that people think 1,000 times before they do that kind of stupidness. You know what I mean? We live in a country where people, it seems as if like that's something people don't have some kind of tolerance for.
I got you, and we're going to continue. We're going to continue that conversation on the other side of the break, without a doubt. Good morning, caller. You got 30 seconds.
Hey, morning. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the guy who said the roundabouts, right?
Uh-huh.
People in Nassau can't drive, but he didn't make a true statement when he said that people who can't use roundabouts should have their driver's license revoked, because in the States, there are rarely roundabouts found in the States. That's actually a European thing.
Mm-hmm.
So people in the States actually don't know to use roundabouts because there are no roundabouts in the U.S.
They're very few. They're
very few. Few in between, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't make a true statement.
Okay. Thank you. Right. Erin, let's talk about tailgating. Keep a close distance and pay attention. Jay texts us. Let me do this. No, Ian, don't say anything. I got 30 seconds left. Let me do this. This texter likes to text that because I think one morning I was behind this person and they were just so frustrated that they couldn't just make their call. They were so upset. Like, how could they be on the road on a Saturday morning and the traffic is light? And why would anybody have a problem with them being so deep in their phone that they didn't realize they came to a complete stop on the road? Right, see, that's what I want to talk about to end the show. I didn't even mean to open this text up when I opened up the phone. There are a lot of people who are on the road with this idea that what is behind me is not before me, as if they don't have to have any concern for what's happening behind them. Right, I wanted to make a lot of links. I don't know if Mr. Nuri going to allow me the time and space to run on a little bit more about it in his hour. But a couple of links I just want to make quickly. It's very easy to make an assessment of what the collective sort of academic achievement levels are by just watching how people navigate the road. Watching how people who are obviously smart enough to attain and maintain a loan for a fancy car, but they don't realize that they're not supposed to be driving while using their phone to the point where they come to a complete stop in the road. One gentleman did it intentionally. He didn't inadvertently come to a stop. He stopped on Shirley Street in the mouth of Victoria to call somebody, and I'm certain it was to ensure that he had the proper instructions on where to park when he turned through Victoria Avenue. See, it's not just the speeders. It's the people who refuse to acknowledge what is required of them when they drive in. When you get in your car, it's not your private car. You're not in your living room watching a movie. You're not in your bathroom having your daily constitutional and meditation. You actually do have to concern yourself about what's happening on the road all around you. And let me tell you this funny thing about the law. The law doesn't care what the police think, because the law is the law. The law don't care that you saw the pad, which I almost did. You know, I watched the police watch 3 cars turn right on red, and they were about to turn right on red themselves until I entered the intersection and entered the lane that they were going to turn into. The law does not care about your ignorance. Anyway, Junkanoo music playing. On the other side of the break, Guardian Radio AM, we're going to pick up some stories. Definitely kids abused at Rangers Camp. The headline in today's Tribune, Monroe says about 10 to 15% of officers on extended sick leave. I just want to know why. Is it long COVID? Is it long? Right, what is it? They got the Junkanoo Tabanka. They got the, what they call that, Mr. Nuri, the Makobi. Anyway, we got to go. Thank you, producer. Stay tuned, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Trafficking in persons or human trafficking is defined as recruiting, transporting, transferring, harboring, and receiving of persons by means of threat or force, abduction, fraud, deception, abuse of power, and giving or receiving of payments or benefits with the aim of exploiting them. It is a criminal offense in the Bahamas that falls under the Trafficking in Persons Prevention and Suppression Act 2008. A person convicted of trafficking in persons can receive sentences ranging from 3 years to life in prison and fines of up to $15,000. If you think someone is a victim of this crime, call police emergency at 919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-84, by the Ministry of National Security.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.